Number two, we will grade Kamish's roster. Kamish, he doesn't win the first round knockout, he wins the second. Everybody kind of knew it was like, is Kamish going to be number one, number two, or number three knockout? Which one? He's number two. He comes in, he takes that second pick. Very important and interesting draft selection that he gets the second pick because now Kamish didn't have that many good keeper prospects, but he keeps Kenneth Walker at the very end of the fourth. So around pick 47, Kenneth Walker's ADP is around pick 36 to 38, which is somewhere here at the 3-4 turn. So he locks him in at the end of the fourth round. He would not have been a good keeper option or value, really. No advantage if Kamish had to pick at the end, but he picks at the beginning of the draft, which makes Kenneth Walker at the 411 his keeper. He goes CMC. He goes CMC at the two. We got no Bijan. We got no CDB, not no Jamar. We had a lot of first round keepers this year. Goes CMC one. Goes Bowers, Marvin Harrison Jr. at the turn. Keeps Kenneth, Pacheco, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, Scadaboo, Dak. Both of those actually wound up being traded. So you can imagine he goes Kyler, Charbonnet there. Trey Benson, Christian Kirk, Dalton Kincaid, Jalen Coker, Isaiah Likely. Best pick. I like some of these late round snags. Um, I like Trey Benson. I like Kincaid. A couple years ago, everybody was like, first of all, Dalton Kincaid, great prospect. Second of all, everyone's like, he's going to be Josh Allen's favorite target. Dalton Kincaid was getting drafted like tight end four last year. He sucked last year, but he's a flyer. He's a flyer. He's not even my starting tight end. He's a flyer. I just think some good value there. Um, and Worst pick, you could argue Marvin Harrison Jr. is a reach. In some drafts, he goes here. In some drafts, he goes in the middle. In some drafts, he goes at the end of the third round, early fourth. It's just a situation of he wasn't getting back, and Commission needs a wide receiver. And if you like Marv more than T. Higgins or DK Metcalf or Terry McLaurin, I mean, they're kind of all in the same range. You got to pick one. Um, so Commish goes with Marv. Um, could have been a reach there. Um, You could argue Bowers isn't a great pick. It's an interesting range, the end of the second and third round. Everyone's kind of similar tiered. Um, and I don't know if Bowers has a lot of upside. I think he's just kind of safe, and maybe he complements McCaffrey because McCaffrey's risky. Um, but the strength is definitely the RB and the tight end for this team. Those are four of the first five picks. It's weak at wide receiver, especially wide receiver two. Addison's going to be suspended. Christian Kirk and Matthew Golden, one of them having to start the first 4 weeks. I wouldn't call that ideal. That's not great. It's not the worst wide receiver room in the league because maybe Marvin can be a wide receiver one, and then you fill it out from there, but definitely lacking in the wide receiver department. Um, the grade I give this draft is a C plus. C plus, B minus, somewhere in there. Um, I think the strategy of going CMC is very good. It's very risky, but as you mentioned, Commission does not have great keeper prospects, so he doesn't need like a safe pick in the first round of Gibbs or Jefferson or Puka, guys who are probably going to be in at the best, three or four in their position, and at the worst, like nine or ten. He needs to try to win the league with that first pick. Seems he can do that if he plays the whole year, or if he just plays in the playoffs. Um, so I think from a draft strategy, from that perspective, good. I don't know if rounds 6 through 9 were great. A lot of the good players were kind of eaten up by then, and leads to the depth on this team not being the best. We need some late round flyers to work out for it to be good. I think C plus B minus grade's fair. The tier I have this team in is boomer bust tier. This is very, very dependent on how a couple players do, how a couple of these first picks actually pan out. So um, I think it's overall like a pretty good draft. The one thing I'll say about it to close, the one nice thing, very talented roster. You can't argue like this team is kind of just all talent for the first six of the seven picks. Pacheco's really the only grinder here. I mean, Kenneth Walker, best RB in his draft class, Marv. Everyone was drafting Marv at the end of the first last year, so Can he bounce back and be the, what was he off the board here? Wide receiver 10? Can he bounce back and be the 10th or 11th or 7th best wide receiver if he gets a full year of Kyler? He's talented. Bauer's very talented. CMC, obviously the most talented running back in the league. Addison and Matthew Golden are both very talented players. So there's a lot of talent on this roster. It's, do they, in some cases, do they bounce back? In some cases, do they stay healthy? That's why I'm gonna put it in the boomer bust. You can see a high ceiling and a low floor for a lot of these picks. You can see their season going really well or really bad. So I think it's a fair place to put it in. I don't think you can argue that if this team stays healthy, that it's going to be scary to run into this starting lineup in the playoffs. So, um, yeah, no one wants to hear me talk about my team more. So that's all I'll say.